Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening, I'm Melissa Horobin and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. It turns out current methods of assessing speeding tendencies could be faulty. Reporter Sean Prevost explores why you might not have deserved to get that speeding ticket.
It's what's used by police to catch those who are speeding, but a recent CBC investigation into how police test radar has raised questions over the validity of millions of traffic tickets, and those who defend people in court say it's because of a lack of using a tuning fork.
When you move to a tuning fork test, there's no assumption. That's the equipment actually working, actually reading vibrations, and we know to a moral certainty it is working.
Ron Harper of OTD Ticket Defenders in Windsor says tuning forks should be used because of accuracy and efficiency.
These are fixed things. We know what the tuning fork test does. It is an all-encompassing test, and it's instantaneous. Why not do it?
While many police forces across Canada use the test, the OPP and Windsor Police do not. Constable Andrew Joulard with the Windsor Police says they only perform internal radar tests based on manufacturer instructions.
We're confident that when we calibrate these devices according to manufacturer specifications that they are working properly.
But Walter Martin from Off the Hook Paralegal says the internal test is not enough.
The only thing that tests an antenna is a tuning fork test. Without the antenna working properly or ensuring that the antenna is working properly, none of your readings should be allowed.
Although the report has put fines, demerits, and insurance premiums into question, Martin says police likely won't return to the tuning fork test until more people start fighting the tickets, something he says is unlikely to happen.
Everybody that gets a ticket, they want to have a trial. They really, deep down they do, but they're scared of having a trial.
Martin says people can be scared because challenging a ticket could risk higher fines and demerit points. Unless people come forward, the only chance radar testing changes will come is if either government orders it. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Sean Prevost.
It's time for an early look at the weather, so let's check in with Alana Wills, who is at the corner of University in Victoria. Alana?
Thanks, Alyssa. Well, right now it's a cool and damp 0 degrees. Tonight we can expect it to drop down to -4 degrees Celsius. We might see a flurry or two, but no serious accumulation. Check back in later with the show, where I'll have our 3-day forecast. Back to you, Alyssa.
The first annual WDBA meeting took place last week, and we sent reporter Jonathan Hutton to see what's in store for the new Gordie Howe Bridge.
The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority held its first public meeting on Thursday, where the committee briefed the public on the Gordie Howe Bridge. They discussed everything from designs, costs of the project, as well as how much money the taxpayers of Windsor would have to put towards the project. Wade Duncan, the president of the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, believes that the bridge will bring new life to Windsor, as well as new business opportunities.
This project is of an order of magnitude that it is going to change, and I believe over time, the image. I believe it's going to become a symbol of the renaissance of this region to the rest of the world, and because it will be so big, and it will be, but to your point, yes, there will be an opportunity for community comment, involvement, and I'd welcome people's views on how they'd like to see it.
Windsor West Member of Parliament Brian Massey is very pleased that the Windsor Bridge Authority is listening to the public about their views on the bridge. He's been pushing for a bike lane on the new Gordie Howe Bridge, which he believes will help connect Windsor-Essex County and give the residents an option to live a healthier lifestyle.
I've been pushing for a bike lane, pedestrian lane on the new border crossing. It seems to be more accepted now. I've met with the minister about it, and I've met with U.S. groups and Canadian groups, and so it seems that they're taking this seriously, and hopefully it'll be part of it, because the bridge needs to be more than just an entity for cars and trucks. It needs to be part of our lifestyle.
The next Bridge Authority meeting is to take place in Detroit, where they'll discuss the design of the bridge and approximately how long it will take for the new bridge to be complete. For MediaPlex News, I'm Jonathan Hutton.
Ashley Ann Mentley has a special guest in studio for this edition of 3 Minutes With. Ashley?
Hi, I'm Ashley Ann Mentley, and today we're joined by Missy Sorrow. Thanks for being here, Missy.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, you work at the United Way, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the United Way does?
So United Way, our goal is to mitigate the effects of poverty and reduce poverty across all of Windsor-Essex. And so we do this by mobilizing the carrying power of the community and its resources in 3 strategic key areas. Poverty to possibility, so these are our food banks, addressing transportation barriers, and a new program called On Track to Success, investing in all that kids can be, so after-school programs, out-of-school programs, mentorship programs, and strengthening communities. And so these are neighborhood renewal initiatives, counseling programs, and mental health support programs.
So it sounds like United Way has their hands in a lot of things throughout the whole community, right?
Absolutely. We partner with 32 different programs and agencies across all of Windsor-Essex.
That's a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people say, United Way is well known but not known well. And so we're invested in so many different agencies. Last year alone, we helped over 50,000 people right here locally.
That's great. Now, at the United Way, you are a relationship manager, correct, for youth?
Yeah, my official title is Relationship Manager for Youth and Young Adults, which is a fancy way of saying Youth Engagement Coordinator. So I have the most fun job and the best job. I get to work with students from grade school, high school, post-secondary, college, and the university. I also get to work with the faculty, staffs, and educators at all of those wonderful institutions across our community.
Great. What would you say is your favorite part of your job?
Oh gosh, there's so many things that I love to do. My favorite part, I would say, is when young people come up to me and they say, "Oh, I want to run this activity," or "I want to do this initiative." One program that I have is called the Think Global, Act Local project. So this includes a classroom curriculum where we teach students about poverty and about local poverty, and then we actually give them in their classes a $1,000 grant to do a project in the community. So the applications are open now, and student groups, classrooms are all welcome to apply. You can just go on our website. And my other favorite project is iClimb. So this event is coming up on February 24th.
Okay.
And last year there were around 2,000 students and workplaces that climbed 1,000 stairs at the WFCU Center to raise support for the mental health and counseling programs across our region.
Oh, that sounds like a great program. So if someone wants to get involved with that, how can they go about that?
So you can either register as an individual, you can come in a team, you can bring a team from your workplace, or you can even come from your school. And all you have to do is go to www.weareunited.com/iClimb to register your team.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I'm Ashley Ann Mentley, and we've just spent 3 minutes with Missy Sorrow.
Noor Private School recently held an event to welcome Syrian refugees. We sent Rabiul Biplab to report.
Noor School Parent Council had an event on last Friday to welcome the Syrian children who choose Windsor as their home. In the school gymnasium, students gathered to make postcards and paintings for the Syrian children. Dina Najer, Secretary of Parent Council, says the event was part of a school project.
As part of the Parent Council, we try and do group activities for the children, and we try to help children do after-school activities like arts and crafts and do things that they enjoy.
Muhammad Hafez, a parent of a student, says it is a good exercise for his son.
And learn how to welcome other people, have to have compassion, especially with these kids. They've been through a lot coming to Canada.
Students also were happy to welcome and do something for the Syrian children.
Today we're making cards for the Syrian refugees to welcome them to Canada.
The postcards will be delivered by the Parent Council members to the Canadian Syrian Council. I'm Rabiul Biplab for MediaPlex News.
I'm starting to crave something sweet, something like maple syrup. Luckily, we sent Julia Pullman to get a taste of the seasonal specialty.
As we move into February, the sap from the trees is starting to flow, and that eventually gets boiled down and turns into maple syrup. The season usually begins in February, and the sap can continue into April. Temperature differences causes the sap in maple trees to float, and it depends on warm days and cold nights. However, with the mild winter temperatures, some producers have began to tap their trees. Earl Elgie is a farmer from Dresden and has just started to tap the maple trees at the beginning of the month. He says a good season all comes down to the weather.
Any producer will tell you you never know how good a season is until you're done boiling the last liter of syrup that you make. We're all dependent on Mother Nature. Good syrup season will be when you have a warm during the day and a little bit of frost at night.
Once the sap is collected, it is then taken to a sugar house or shack where it gets boiled down by an evaporator. As the sap boils, it becomes a sweeter, dense liquid.
To produce maple syrup, we tap maple trees, we gather the sap, and in order to produce maple syrup, we have to boil the sap down to remove the water, and it will make it into syrup, which is basically sugar.
Right at the present time, there's 5 different grades. Very light, medium, dark, and then a processing grade. They're just in the process of changing that effective the 1st of January, but phasing it in over the next 2 years.
Overall, Ontario produces more than 1 million liters of maple syrup per year, and it all boils down to weather conditions. For MediaPlex News, I'm Julia Pullman.
Let's head back outside and check in with Alana Wills, who has a 3-day forecast. Alana?
Thanks, Alyssa. The last few days we've been experiencing a crescent moon, but did you know that a colored moon is caused by different environmental factors that can change the moon to colors such as orange, blue, or red? Now that I've given you that fun fact, let's have a look at the 3-day forecast. Wednesday, we will see a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 0 and a low of -10. Thursday, expect some flurries and a high of -3 with a low of -4. And for Friday, it is the start of a bit of a warm-up with a spring-like high of 10 Celsius and a low of 5. That's it for me at the corner of University and Victoria. Back to you in the studio, Alyssa.
Samantha Wigfield had a chance to sit down with Carol Derbyshire in this edition of 3 Minutes With.
Hi, I'm Samantha Wigfield, and thanks for joining me on 3 Minutes with Carol Derbyshire. Carol is the Hospice Executive Director and is also hosting the Windsor-Essex Compassionate Community. Can you tell us a little bit about the WECC?
Yes, I'd be glad to. Our Windsor-Essex Compassionate Community Project it started out as a research project looking at communities and how they could come together and support those in the community who may be isolated, those people who are facing early Alzheimer's, those people that may be a year away from death, and how can we better support them? We all listen to the complaints about healthcare, there's not enough money. And our community is looking at rallying. And by that I mean we've got many of the agencies, healthcare, social services, the college, the university, churches, groups around the city and the county, all coming together and looking at how we can surround these people with the care that they need. And that's not just the formal caregivers, we're also rallying neighbors. There are leaders in everyone's neighborhood. So we're looking at these folks to help us to do those things that perhaps someone who's not well can no longer shovel the snow or cut the grass. And coupled with the formal caregivers coming in the home that are trying to address those physical, social, spiritual needs. And then there are those practical needs that neighbors can help with. Many years ago, I think that was a very common thing where neighbors looked out for neighbors, and we're trying to bring that back. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. We have quite a few people that are interested in wanting to help.
That sounds fantastic. How does that differ from hospice?
Well, our hospice, our mission is to support those people who are facing life-altering disease. And many of our patients have cancer, ALS, COPD, and our in later stages of illness. Now, the people that we're trying to help may not be very sick. They may be getting a bit feeble, can't do a lot of things on their own, could stay in their own home if they just had some support, someone monitoring, someone coaching them and working with them.
Right. How can local residents get involved in the WECC?
Well, we are right now, we're doing what we call a soft pilot, and we've identified about 10 people that would fit this project very well, and we've asked them to be very critical and tell us what's good and what isn't. And once we finish this, then we are going to come out and share all of this with the community and let them know they can currently call hospice and talk to us about it if they like. But we will have a much formal launch probably by summertime.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining me. I'm Samantha Wakefield, and you've been watching 3 Minutes with Carol Derbyshire.
Our very own Denise Palacia recently spoke with St. Clair College bodybuilder Morgan Jones to see how the art changed her life.
When you see her training people at the Sportsplex, you wouldn't know how deep her story really goes. 19-year-old Morgan Jones may look like your average teenager, but she actually has a superpower: strength. Jones started her fitness career running from the age of 6 up until last year when she switched to bodybuilding after a battle with anorexia and depression. Jones thought she wanted to become a running coach when she graduated the program until she fell in love with lifting. She says it's a better stress reliever than running. This year, Jones decided not to participate in cross country because she's in the process of prepping for her first figure competition later this year. She explained the intricate process of the competition as walking on stage in front of a panel of judges who will then judge competitors on how they look symmetrically, straight down to the color of their suits. Jones is hopeful her long-term vision of becoming an owner of her very own gym warehouse in 5 to 10 years comes true alongside her classmate and gym partner, Joel York.
She has a lot of good things going for her. And yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of it.
From past experiences, Jones wants to gear her niche market towards women who are new to lifting and want to gain strength and muscle size. She also wants to gear working out for runners as well, since she has an extensive background in the sport. Many gym goers call Jones an inspiration and their source of motivation. Most teenagers enjoy the occasional burger or a slice of pizza. However, Jones prefers a much more strict and extreme diet containing protein pancakes and berries.
Right now, I have to eat every 2 to 3 hours because otherwise my metabolism's gonna slow down, so I gotta keep it high and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty much I'm eating 6 times a day.
In years to come, Jones is hoping to open her business. She is planning to open a warehouse gym called Strong and Sassy Fitness. Women are the main target for her business, which is why Jones says the name reflects well. Jones feels she is too young to call herself an entrepreneur. However, that is exactly what she is aiming to be. She said her biggest tool for advertising right now is reaching out to people through social media and spreading the business through word of mouth. Currently, Jones and York teach a boot camp Thursday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. at the college in the mezzanine. York hopes to continue to work alongside Jones in the future when she opens her business. As you can see, I got my butt kicked. However, the duo was very encouraging, and they gave me motivation to head back to the gym. For MediaPlex News, I'm Denise Palacia.
It looks like Windsor Stadium might be getting a makeover. Michael Hugel reports.
The AKO fraternity is attempting to bring history back to life by revitalizing one of the city's oldest sporting venues, Windsor Stadium. Located behind Kennedy Collegiate High School, Windsor Stadium has been housing the AKO Fratman football team since the 1940s. That is until the team moved to École La Jeunesse for the 2015 season. Although the plan for the Windsor Restoration Project has been in effect for 61 days, Governor of the Board of Directors John Zuquette believes the community has taken to the fraternity's affirmative action.
Well, the restoration project is mainly focused on the stadium proper right now. So phase 1 is going to involve redoing the field, redoing the existing stands that seat about 1,200 people, a new scoreboard, and moving the lights back out of the field of play, which is something that we've been wanting to do for about 40 years.
A gala was held January 29th at the Cogeco Club in order to bring awareness to the community about the project, and also to raise a fraction of the 14 to 15 million needed. However, it will take much more than positive reaction to make this vision come to fruition. According to Joseph Paza of Paza Architects, the full restoration initiative is looking to be a $14 to $15 million project.
There used to be stands on the other side as well, wooden stands going quite large. And that's part of what we're trying to do here again, is bring those stands back in and increase the facility to about 5,000 people.
Because when you think of Windsor Stadium, you think of guys like Romberg and Filion and Otague, guys that have really exemplified what football means to the Windsor and Essex County community. For MediaPlex News, I'm Michael Hugel.
Producer Ashley Ann Mentley and reporter Todd Sheeran caught up with Chantel Kreviazik and Rain Maida before their Friday night performance.
Remember the days when we talked for hours, and we were young, we thought we had superpowers. We kissed the skies, expanded our minds, thought we could fly, we were dreamers, we'd never die.
How's it going? My name's Todd Sheeran. I'm here at the St. Clair College Center for the Arts inside at the Chrysler Theater with husband and wife duo Rain Maida and Chantel Kreviazik, who are out touring for their Moon vs. Sun tour as a couple. Tell us about it and what's it like going on the road with your significant other?
It's good. It's really good. It's really inspiring. It's really challenging, incredibly comforting. I noticed yesterday we were having our band dinner after sound check pre-show, and I just had to lean into my husband and sort of formally appreciate the moment of him being with me. It was just really nice to be on the road with my man.
This is the first time you guys have really taken the time to write music together more for yourself as opposed to anybody else. I know you've done a lot of production work and co-writing and stuff for other people. What's that like? And tell us about the Moon versus Sun as an idea.
It came together about 2 years ago or 18 months ago with a song called I Love It When You Make Me Beg. And it was just one of those moments where we talked about this project and putting something together. I don't think we had a name at that point, but it was, it was going to be based on what did we really have to say as artists, because we've said so much as in our own, careers, what was going to make this any different, to give us really the go-ahead that this was something viable. And we wrote that song late one night, and it just felt like, I don't know, I think after you've been writing songs for 15 years or so, you feel like, is the best stuff behind you? And this was one of those moments where it just felt like, whoa.
Well, let's talk about the social media again, and the fact that now it's a whole different time compared to when you guys both came out in the 90s with your music careers. If you have a greatest memory of what you guys might have received as far as social media, a message from a fan or a story, or I know there's lots I see.
The other night when we came home and we were reading them and we both got emotional, someone said,
I did not.
Yeah, he was pretty stirred.
It's okay to cry.
Yeah, we were both quite emotional. Somebody said that, they politely said that they had not felt that connection with their spouse in a while. I'm like emotional even thinking about it right now. They said that they were sitting next to each other watching, and I don't know which song it was, but she just kind of I think she got the courage and she leaned into her partner, and they both cried and, and so anyway, she said, thank you for helping me feel love again. That was really incredible.
What can people expect from the show tonight? How's it laid out? Is it you and then you and or together all the way? How's it go down?
It's everything. And when I say everything, it's my solo stuff and LLP songs and Chantel songs, and then
couple covers,
a bunch of Moon vs. Sun songs. Yeah, and it all fits. The arrangements all really complementing the band we have.
Sometimes it feels like a continuum even.
Feels to go feels to build an army and hurt the one I love.
Thank you guys for talking to me today and about the love of music and your love for each other and the love of touring and the love of the fans and
you
and the love of me. Yeah. I want to thank Rain Maida and Chantel Kreviazik for being great to talk to you guys. Thanks so much, and good luck tomorrow. I guess one last question. What'd you get him for Valentine's Day?
Oh, can I talk about that on the air? No.
Tomorrow's show.
Since I met you on a cloud on Monday, can't believe how much I love the rain.
Continuing education programs come in all shapes and sizes, but a recently added stand-up comedy program has St. Clair College in stitches. Alex Latramouille has more.
St. Clair College will be a hub of laughter once again as its stand-up comedy program enters its second year. Beginning on February the 14th, this continuing education program will teach students how to write and deliver jokes, understand pacing, as well as how to read audiences. Of course, this isn't a sit-down program, as in front of the mic experience will be offered from February the 19th to the 20th. Windsor comedian Leo Dufour will take the reins on teaching again. He says he started the course because stand-up techniques are usually only mastered if taught.
It is an art form, like singing and dancing. There's just little tricks to it and little things that you can do that I teach, or try to teach, and that make it easier.
Local comic Chris Mayu says the program will strengthen Windsor's comedy scene.
I think honestly it's really cool because it's nice to see that Windsor's expanding and like they're showing more support for like the comedy scene here by giving new people a chance to like dip their toe into it, get trained in it. I'm interested to see in the next couple of months who comes out of it, if the scene gets any bigger, and I'm looking forward to it.
Dufour says he hopes the course will eventually become a full-time program.
I love teaching comedy. Like I said, I've done it for so long and so many places that I find it interesting when people listen to what I'm talking about and then they apply it and it works. It's kind of a thrill for me as it is for them.
As of now, the program will be held in 2 waves on the 14th and 21st of this month. For MediaPlex News, I'm Alex Latramouille.
Comic-Con events are growing as a premier event all over the world, and as David Dyke reports, Windsor is no exception.
Coming from all over Windsor-Essex County, geeks, nerds, and X-Men lovers everywhere have gathered to the St. Clair Center for the Arts to satisfy all their comic book cravings. Let's take a look. For the second year in a row, Windsor has had a chance to join in Canada's growing comic scene with its very own Comic-Con. Held at the St. Clair Center for the Arts, science fiction and fantasy lovers came to revel in appropriate geekiness with costumes of Indiana Jones, the Joker, and even the 80s version of Lex Luthor, complete with body armor. Dressing itself up as a fun event for the family, activities for both kids and adults alike also involve the DC and Marvel trivia contest, with prizes given away every half hour. With artists coming from Montreal, Toronto, and Michigan, the event's main stars, however, were its own. Megan Carney studied at the University of Windsor. She said she was excited that Windsor is showing such an interest in the art of comics.
It's exciting to see that Windsor's comic scene is really starting to grow. It's nice to see when exciting things are coming out of Windsor. We get swept under the rug a little bit.
Collectibles galore sat waiting for purchase, with posters, trading cards, and one giant set of action figures to live in the scene. But for those looking for that rare edition of the first Silver Surfer, thousands of comics sat invitingly, begging for hours of sifting. Mike Allen is the creator of the event. He said he cannot see the event doing anything from here but growing.
There's something here for everybody, and I think we're going to keep growing every year. We've got local artists like David Finch and Jeff Lemire and Johnny Desjardins and Jason Fabak who have come from Windsor, who are now working in the industry for Marvel and DC Comics. So there's a lot of local talent here, and I think it's just going to keep on growing.
Mike plans to hold the next Comic-Con on February 19th of next year in the same location. For MediaPlex News, I'm David Dyke.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Melissa Horban, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.